I would do everything for my legacy and my career, and I'm looking forward to it.
I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him.
Terence Crawford breaks it all down. The fight, the flaws, and why Canelo's legacy might not be what you think in a never-before-seen interview. Terence Crawford opened up about his evolving interest in a potential clash with Canelo Alvarez. He revealed that the idea was first planted during a conversation with Bill Haney a few years ago. At the time, Crawford admitted he wasn't ready to step up to Canelo's higher weight class. But as time passed, what started as just a passing thought gradually transformed into a serious and realistic ambition.
Came to me a few years ago, talking to Bill Haney, and him suggesting that I should say forget Errol Spence and go out there Canelo Alvarez. And at that time, I was just, like, man, I'm not moving up that weight, to fight Canelo. And then I started looking more into it, and then it became more of a reality, fight than anything.
Continuing his journey, Crawford has made it clear that he's not leaning on past performances to shape what comes next. As he gears up for this high-stakes showdown, Bud emphasized that every fight brings its own unique challenges, and Canelo's style is unlike anything he's faced before. Instead of reusing old tactics, Crawford is developing a game plan specifically designed to counter the Mexican superstar.
I don't take nothing from it, because styles make fights, and Canelo has a different style than Israel Majimov. So, we just go from there.
Did you notice any differences in yourself, your ability to carry power or take a shot or anything like that?
Not at all, not at all, not at all.
Canelo is a great fighter. Like, I always had respect for Canelo. I always, liked it to watch him and things like that. I think he does a lot of great things in the ring. I think he works hard. I think his work ethic is, to the roof. But I just believe in my skills. I believe in me, and the fact that people doubt me, it just fueled me even more just to try to get the fight even more. I remember back in the day, I was just like, man, they was like, man, would you ever fight Canelo? I was like, man, Canelo too big. Like, he in a different weight class.
Adding another layer to the ongoing conversation, David Benavidez shared his thoughts on the potential clash, expressing strong confidence in Terence Crawford's ability to dethrone Canelo Alvarez. He cited Crawford's rare blend of strength, speed, and elite boxing IQ as major advantages. However, Benavidez didn't shy away from pointing out a critical concern: the weight jump. He emphasized that Crawford is making a significant leap in weight, a factor that could heavily influence the outcome when the two finally meet in the ring.
Opportunity, he has a chance to beat Canelo. I think it's Terence Crawford. His IQ is on another level. He's a great fighter and he's strong. It's just that it's a lot of weight, And he didn't have a hard time at 154, but he wasn't like, the other guy was getting him with some good punches, So he felt the power at 154. So imagine you go up to 160, 160. Madrimov is a good fighter. And then, you find a strong fighter like Canelo.
Despite concerns about the weight jump, Benavidez was quick to acknowledge the sheer magnitude of the potential clash, calling it the kind of high-stakes fight where anything can happen. Given Crawford's elite skill set and champion's mentality, he admitted he wouldn't be shocked if Crawford managed to pull off the upset. "You have to watch these kinds of fights and let them play out," Benavidez said. "I wouldn't be surprised."
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if he loses either. I think Terence Crawford, when he went up against the best opposition, like Errol Spence, he showed what level he's on, what type of dog he is. So it's just, I don't know, you really have to let these fights play out to see what happens. He might get hurt. That shit might activate him to, come back strong. Or I don't know, or he might, I don't know. We got to sit and see.
Touching on potential weaknesses, Benavidez offered sharp insight into Canelo Alvarez's vulnerabilities. He pointed out that when facing bigger, more powerful opponents, Canelo has shown signs of struggle in absorbing heavy shots. But Benavidez was clear: going for a single knockout punch isn't the key to beating Canelo. Instead, he stressed the importance of sharp jabs and sustained combinations to dictate the pace and keep Canelo on the back foot throughout the fight.
He gets pushed back by them. He gets he doesn't really take the shots well, like as when he took the shots against Billy Joe Sanders and Caleb Plant. So he's vulnerable for them shots. And then when Munguia was throwing more combinations, you could kind of see Canelo coming back. Getting pushed back. I feel like Canelo, He's too smart of a fighter. You just try to one-shot him. You have to throw combinations and combinations and keep him on the end of the jab. And also use the ring. When Munguia messed up at, he stopped using that game plan, and if he
just started pressing more.
That's when he would get caught with the body shots and the uppercut.
For Crawford, the challenge ahead is undeniable, but so is the opportunity. As the showdown with Canelo draws near, the former undisputed champion is fully embracing the moment. He's not just stepping into the ring, he's stepping into history.
I would do everything for my legacy and my career, and I'm looking forward to it.
Have you considered at all what happens if you lose?
No, not at all. I don't think about losing because I'm too busy thinking about winning.
When you're going into a bigger weight class like that, you know what I mean, you size them up and you see, your advantages and his advantages. I feel I got the speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I feel like, I got the better skills, boxing skills. As a whole, and looking at a lot of people like, man, you can't beat him. Then I'm looking at him and I'm watching him. I'm like, man, I can beat this dude. And then everybody like, oh man, you think you can beat Canelo? Oh man, he too big. And I'm like, I've been fighting people bigger than me all my life. Since I was a little kid, so I always been undersized. And I always came out on top, so this is no different than anyone else in my eyes. Yeah, you're gonna get hit.
Crawford also acknowledged the unpredictable nature of boxing, noting that once the bell rings, anything can happen. Anyone can get hurt or knocked out. While he's not underestimating the risks or the challenge Canelo presents, Crawford made it clear that a knockout isn't his sole objective. Instead, he's focused on executing his game plan with discipline and precision, trusting that if the opportunity for a finish arises, he'll be ready to seize it.
Well, anybody can get hurt. Anybody can get, knocked out. I don't put it past nobody, but I'm not going in there looking for a knockout.
One step at a time, but is there a chance that this is your last fight?
Who knows? We shall see.
Echoing Crawford's view on the unpredictability of the fight, Roy Jones Jr. weighed in with his own perspective, emphasizing that the outcome may largely depend on Canelo's approach. According to Jones, if Canelo steps into the ring trying to outbox Crawford while assuming he's the superior fighter, he could be setting himself up for serious trouble.
It's a hard one to call, and I'm going to tell you why it's a hard one to call. It's a hard one to call because it'll all be predicated upon how Canelo approaches the fight. If Canelo approaches the fight like he's the man and he can box and outbox Terence Crawford, he'll get beat. If he comes out and shows that he really wants to go out and prove the world that he's still the best, he might win. So it all depends on which Canelo come to the dance.
Man, it's a great fight for boxing. I know people don't agree with it, but if Canelo fights one inkling of the wrong fight, he's gonna lose. If he comes out and fights the right fight, it's gonna be a tough one. So right now, I think it's gonna be either way, but it depends on what type of fight Canelo fights.
You've been a guy that put up the weight class. How do you think Terence Crawford should handle the weight? Should he come in lighter? Should he come right around the weight limit?
I mean, as big as he can get. If you get to the weight limit, because there is a weight limit, get to the weight limit.
What he would look to try to make history and get out. Get his big bank and get out. His big bank is who? Canelo. He will take that gamble, see if he can beat him. If he beats him, he may go fight better beat this nigga. If he don't beat him, he say, okay, I took it as high as I could go. I'm done.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if he gets the win. Like, oh my God.
Promoter Eddie Hearn added a different layer to the conversation, suggesting that Canelo Alvarez may no longer be in his prime. While he praised Canelo's discipline and experience, Hearn also pointed to signs of decline, specifically in his timing and ability to cut off the ring. He questioned whether the Mexican superstar still possesses the hunger and sharpness needed to deal with a dynamic and versatile opponent like Crawford.
He couldn't cut the ring off. I just feel like the timing now, the age, Canelo is amazing. I mean, not just because of his ability and what he's accomplished, but the fact that he still has the desire for those training camps and those fights. But I just feel like that desire might be fading a little bit. Not because of his love, but just because of age and life. Do you know what I mean?
On the other side of the debate, Mike Tyson named Canelo Alvarez as his pound-for-pound best fighter. However, even Tyson acknowledged that Canelo is approaching the twilight of his career. Expressing strong interest in a potential showdown, Tyson urged Canelo to give undefeated contender David Benavidez a shot, a fight he believes the boxing world needs to see.
It's tough. There's a couple of them out there. You have to go with Canelo, but there's still so many, the young up-and-coming lightweights. The Canelo's almost on his way out. They got some other guy, and Benavidez, he's a great fighter coming up. He'll be great, man. There's so many great fighters out there, man. But that's one thing they have, is great fighters out there. It's some new guys out there. There's the young man, David Benavidez.
Yeah.
I call him the monster. He's tough. I would love to see Canelo fight him.
Terence Crawford revealed that although his official training camp for the Canelo fight hasn't yet begun, he has stayed disciplined and consistent with his routine. The former undisputed champion emphasized that he never lets himself go too long without training, keeping both his body and mind sharp year-round to be ready for moments like this.
Camp right now for Canelo?
Not yet.
Not yet? So what do you do? But are you
I'm
training?
still training. I'm always training.
I know, that's right.
I'm always training.
Are you lifting more weights now?
Not at all.
So is it safe to say in the Canelo fight, you won't be weighing 168? You're gonna come under because you're not used to fighting, or will you be 168?
I don't know, we gotta see. You shall see.
Entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. Like, he might be thick, you know what I mean, but he's not a big dude. You know what I mean? Like, Benavidez is like 6 foot something, you know what I mean? Then he gonna come in 190, or 200 probably, you know what I mean? Like, you never know, like.
Furthermore, Terence Crawford acknowledged that a victory over Canelo Alvarez would firmly establish his place among boxing's all-time greats. He agreed that such a win would elevate his legacy to historic heights, emphasizing that even among the elite company of boxing legends, he has achieved feats few others can claim.
Those guys that you name is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to none of those fighters, but when you see the skill level, it's night and day.
So how do you see a fight with Canelo?
Why?
No, I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm talking about all time.
All
Like
time.
Ali, Floyd, I'm talking about all time.
When you talk about all these other fighters, who would have done or accomplished anything close to it?
Look, I agree.
I'm asking you.
No, none of them.
All right then, so why would they all
No,
be?
but you know how some people won't, you know, they'll say.
Say Sugar Ray Robinson, he never went up 3 weight classes and fought the undisputed
The top
champion.
Right.
You know, and a first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best Mexican fighters that come out of Mexico.
Of all time, yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a difference when you talk about moving up in weight and who you fighting, you know?
Amid all the speculation, former UFC champion Kamaru Usman challenged the narrative circulating among some fans and boxing insiders that Canelo Alvarez is afraid to face certain opponents. Usman dismissed the notion, stating that fear has no place in the mindset of a world champion. While acknowledging that some level of concern is natural before any big fight, he emphasized that Canelo does not come across as a fighter who shies away from challenges.
I've been hearing this a lot. You know, I absolutely don't believe Canelo is scared. And I think you understand that as well. You know that. But there's something.
I disagree, but go ahead.
There's something, because you can't be, you're not scared to be a world champion. I don't care if it's someone that's extremely, you know, that might be dangerous to you, but that's what we do. That's what you do. That's what you taking all these, you sparring with these guys since you were young. Of course you know, you might be a little worried on the inside, but you step in there and you spar with these guys anyways. And then you get done, you're like, oh, I didn't die.
Yeah.
You know, I'm good. So yeah. I don't believe that rhetoric. Oh, Canelo's scared. And I agree, he's a smaller in stature. The one thing about him though, when he does get inside the ring, he's big. Mm-hmm. He's big. The way he corners guys, the way he kind of breaks guys down over time, he's big. Yeah. Actually watching and studying him.
Adding another unique perspective, Alexis Rocha, who has shared the ring and sparred with both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, believes Crawford will more than hold his own. He credits Crawford's high boxing IQ as his greatest weapon, even though he slightly leans toward Canelo in what he expects to be a razor-close battle.
Yes, there is weight classes for a reason. Canelo is a lot bigger. Crawford has that, he also has a good size to him where he has that good size and he has that reach and he has that boxing IQ. That's the most important thing when it comes to a boxing game, is the IQ. You know, I think Crawford will hold his own very good in that fight. But I will lean a little bit more towards Canelo, given the fact that he's more experienced and he's been in there with bigger guys.
Not everyone is convinced that the size issue is overstated. Legendary broadcaster Jim Lampley noted that the weight gap Crawford faces is significant and rarely handled well, especially in the middleweight division. He highlighted that Canelo has taken punches from much bigger opponents before, and the key question remains whether Crawford can generate enough power to genuinely trouble him.
Well, my first thought is whether it's 14 pounds and 21 pounds, it's a big gap. And it's not the kind of gap that fighters are normally able to easily deal with, particularly in the middle range of weight classes. You know, Terence Crawford has not fought at 168 pounds. Terence Crawford, to my knowledge, has fought once at 154 pounds. And, you know, 168 pounds is a long way up from 147. So I've run across a couple of expert opinions who say, oh yes, Terence will be fine at this weight, he's going to win. And I've run across a couple of other expert opinions that say, what is he, crazy? He's going in against a guy whom he can't hurt. That's the biggest question, is how does Terence hurt Canelo Alvarez? So at the end of the day, he's fought much bigger guys than Terence Crawford and held up to that kind of punishment. I'm not sure what Terence's plan is to win the fight other than a boxing paint job. If Terence is going to tell me my way to win the fight is I'm going to outbox him every second of every round and he's not going to find me, that's probably the right plan in my particular view. But, you know, maybe Terence has something else in mind.
In response to concerns about the weight difference, Terence Crawford expressed frustration toward his critics, firmly stating that weight won't be an issue against Canelo. He reminded everyone that when Canelo moved up in weight, he suffered a loss, but when Crawford made his own jump, he came out victorious. For Crawford, the difference isn't just about pounds on the scale. It's about skill, adaptability, and a winning mentality.
We all know what Canelo brings to the table. We all know that Canelo went up to 175. We all know that. But we don't know how Crawford can compete with Canelo. We don't know. So we know what to expect when we see Canelo come into the ring and when Canelo fights, but we don't know what to expect when we see Crawford, because we never seen Crawford at this weight before.
Mm-hmm. They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. You know, so let's not do that, Canelo.
You know, when you hear the media, when you hear the experts talk, you always hear all of them say, you never seen a smaller great fighter beat a big great fighter. You know, so just hearing just all the things that surrounded behind the talks of Crawford going up to fight Canelo is intriguing.
Echoing Crawford's confidence, the Wade concept addressed the widespread worries about Crawford's size. He argued that too much has been made of the issue, pointing out that Crawford doesn't even look small and has smoothly moved up through multiple weight classes. According to Wade, the size narrative may be more exaggerated than necessary.
So, I was going to ask you about that. A lot of people making a big deal about the weight. You just walked in here. You don't look like a 54 right now. You're looking a little more solid these days. And I don't know if this was something I got trolled into on Twitter, but I saw you'd stepped on a scale at 180, around 180-ish.
Yeah.
So you're not having any trouble moving up in weight.
I just think a lot of people is adopting other people's thoughts.
Meanwhile, Sean Porter voiced concerns about whether Terence Crawford can withstand Canelo Alvarez's power over a full 12 rounds. He suggested that Canelo might start aggressively, aiming to wear Crawford down early, a smart tactic given Canelo has recently shown signs of fatigue in the later rounds. For Porter, Crawford's durability and ability to adapt will be crucial if this fight ever comes to fruition.
I am concerned about him absorbing a Canelo punch, especially through the course of 12 rounds. We do know this about Canelo. He's going to slow down, you know, so I think if anything, Canelo would try to start fast and bang on him and break him down before he gets later, and he still got that kind of steam. But, you know, there's so many components that make a champion. There's so many components that make a great, a legend. It's just so much to go into. It's a conversation that lasts an hour easily when we talk about all of the components that Terence Crawford has, all of the components that Canelo has, and how we find how they even out and who trumps one another, you know what I mean? We tried to do that with Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, and we see how that panned out.
As the boxing world buzzes with anticipation, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez stand on the brink of a generational showdown. With legacies, weight disparities, and elite skill sets all in the mix, the outcome remains as unpredictable as it is historic. How do you think the fight will unfold? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button, share it with fellow boxing fans, and subscribe to stay updated on all things boxing.